Good afternoon, traders. Joseph here from Eightcap. Welcome to this week's weekly wrap. So, coming to you from Trade Zone as well, which is the analysis and education part of Eightcap's offering. So we're looking at the US 30 at the moment. We're going to jump to that in a second, but we're just going to cover a couple of key news has come out this week. It started with a pretty quiet week. Monday and Tuesday having no real high impact news coming out. We did have to flush CPI from Spain that came in higher than expected at 3.4. And Australian retail sales came in lower than expected at minus 2.7%. So there's a few things, including the Australian CPI, that is continuing to really push at the RBA from a public perspective anyway. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens on the next meeting. And as just discussed, the Australian CPI came in lower than expected. So the quarter came in at 4.1, I believe. The year on year was at 3.4, and the trim mean was at 0.8. So this did have a bit of an effect on the Aussie when it was released, and we did see a bit of movement, and it was lower, as you may expect. And so I think it will really just come down to now is what does the RBA really say next, and are we going to hear similar talk that we heard from the FOMC this week, really saying that rate cuts aren't going to come as expected. So I think a lot of there's a bit of talk that we may see rate cuts start in the late second half of this year. Others are still continuing to speculate that it will be in 2025. So we can see the Aussie was affected by a stronger US dollar this week. We saw that move lower, and then we saw an extension lower when the dollar really fired higher. And we can see today that it is rallying back. This support level here continues to remain in play. We did a video on the Aussie earlier in the week. That level still remains in play. We discussed it, and so does this one here. So there's two demand support support zones and areas that continue to hold firm for the Aussie. This is the resistance area as well that we're watching. It's at 0.6610, and other markets to the dollar. As we've discussed, it was a bit of a choppy week with the FOMC sort of dashing some hopes, but also not really driving other hopes. So we did see a bit of a fight. We saw a pretty nice fight back yesterday on risk currencies and the pound as well. After the Bank of England rate hold, we can see there was a bit of a dip lower, and then it turned as the dollar was sold off quite aggressively. So we can see here with the USD, had a nice move lower. Just update that yesterday, and we can see the off the back of the FOMC, there was that really strong move lower, but then it pulled itself back up and closed higher for the day. And that was really when the Powell came out and said that there won't be a rate cut next meeting. So that sort of dashed a few hopes and a few expectations. And so I think then now we'll just be relying on further data. We had Chinese manufacturing data come in slightly lower than expected. German prelim CPI came in slightly higher than expected, and we had Canadian GDP slightly higher. US employment cost index was slightly lower, and we had the non-farm employment change come in lower at 107 as opposed to 148 that was expected. The FOMC, we've sort of run over that. And then overnight we had the Bank of England, and they held rates as expected. And we had unemployment claims from the US a little bit higher than expected at 224K, and we will be then looking at the last real key piece of news this week, which is US employment data. It's coming out tonight / early tomorrow morning at 12:30 a.m. and it's average earnings, non-farm employment change, and the unemployment rate. Looking for 3.8 in the unemployment rate, 187K in non-farm, so it's a drop from the last figure of 216, and average hourly earnings to come in slightly lower at 0.3%. So if we do see any big differentials there, that could have an impact on the dollar. It could even continue this current break low that we're seeing if it does support sellers. That would also line up as well with some stock indexes and some of the momentum we are seeing at the moment with some markets are moving against the dollar, indexes as well at the moment. We saw some pretty interesting week on indexes so far. So if we just have a look at the US 30, we can see new highs were set before that decline, and then we saw a very big counter fight back yesterday, and we're seeing some new highs today. So if the employment data does come out in favor, could we see new records being set and with new moves higher? We do believe that will be the case, but we will need to see data probably support that move. I think the market will be looking to see how that data is, and the NDX 100 is another one to keep an eye on. So we can see that really big fight back yesterday after 2 days of selling, and I think we did see some really nice influences today. We'll be looking for a test of that resistance area here and hopefully a break. But out of the three at the moment, the NDX does look good, but probably the SPX 500 making a new record yesterday, and the US 30 both look pretty clean at the moment in terms of their position and how they're setting up as fast continuation. So we've had that breakout here, one pullback, a single bar pullback, and then we continue to run. So that trend does look quite nice at the moment. And so same with the SPX 500, nice and clean. We've had our breakout. Had a slight test back to the breakout yesterday on 2-day decline, and then we've had a really strong bar back, pulling those losses back, and now we just need to see that confirmation with a new high, new records, and then a push higher. So we will be keeping an eye on those three tonight. And as I mentioned, the picks out of the two is US 30 and the S&P, just in terms of just looking a little bit cleaner in terms of their price structure on the chart. And the ASX 200 made new records as well, and it continues to fire into new records today. We did ask if we'll get back to those highs today. I haven't checked it since probably 2 hours ago, and as we can see now, it's setting new records. So very strong performance there from the ASX. It continues a really beautiful week. We take a look at this weekly bar here. It's a very strong week so far into new records. That's after last week's strong finish as well. And we can see, just buyers continue to push, very firmly this week into new records. With 63 points up into that. So very, happy days on the ASX, happy days on a lot of the US indexes, and also, looking at some of the European indexes as well. The German 30 is also looking quite nice. We're seeing a move back up to test, and we could see new records as well if buying does continue today. Again, sorry to harp on, but we'll probably be looking for influences to continue buy momentum through the NFP and the CAC as well. I'll just update that for you. So you can see the CAC bouncing off, midpoint. So it has a little bit more work to do to get back up, but we did see new records earlier, and we'll continue to see if buyers can continue this move that's pushed higher at the moment. The UK 100 at this stage is lagging a little bit. It's got a long way to go to get back to records, but we would like to see if it can set new weekly highs and then break up to these sort of levels and maybe get back up to test some of this resistance as well. So you can see a couple of markets are leading the fray. The German 30 is also in the mix, but yeah, definitely, as we can see, our local market is performing beautifully at the moment today and continues on from this week. And other Asian indexes as well. So we did discuss the JPN 225, and it's taken a little bit. It was a continuation based idea. It has taken a little bit of work to get going. It doesn't look as clean, say, as some of the US indexes, but we have seen new weekly highs, so it looks quite good. And as long as the yen stays, mildly under control, and we do see stocks continue to see demand, we'll look to see if this can continue from a buying point of view. And also the Hong Kong 50 today is 1.61% higher. It's had a pretty rough week with Evergrande going into liquidation, and it's a bit of general weakness going across a lot of Chinese shares at the moment. But you can see after this really strong move down, we had that nice move up. It did look like a continuation lower, and then off the back of Evergrande and a few other things going on, it did look like things could get messy again. Maybe we could get down to test that low, but the Chinese government stepped in with a bit of a rumor / talk of the stimulus package. I haven't checked if that is going to be coming through, but there was word that it was going to materialize, and that looks to have really settled things down. The Chinese indexes look quite good, and the HK50 today is performing very well with 1.567% higher, and we can see a nice pattern here where we've had a move down, a move up, We've got a nice looking higher low. It's broken the trend, and we're seeing that new move up now. So if we do get back up to these sort of levels here and break of this high, that could start to put real pressure on this section here of the downtrend. So we'll continue to watch that one. Now, commodities, oil's had a pretty interesting week so far. It is trading higher today, but it was really tracking quite nicely. You can see those moves up here. It came up and got close to really testing this resistance up here. And then all of a sudden, the last 2 days, we had some really heavy selling. And at the moment, we're going to see if it can respect this area just around here. It's really that 7,367 area down to around 7,330. And we want to see if a low can develop, and this will turn into a higher low in this new trend. But it does need some time. Be very careful as well. We could have a fast move up, a failed high, and then a new lower high pushing down. So it's really in no man's land at the moment, but we're just looking to see for further price action just to confirm it, and then if we can see a bit of action coming from there. So I'm really sorry guys, it's hit 10 minutes again. I'll try and wrap this up quickly. There's a couple more markets I want to go through, but yeah, I'll try and do as quick as possible. So with the dollar jumping around mainly lower, we can see gold's had a pretty nice week so far. We need to see a break here of 20.55 and above, just to show that buyers really are in control. We've had a few stops there previously. Silver as well, we can see a really nice looking rejected low, nice move up. There is resistance at this point at 23.22. Need to see a break of that area just to show that buyers can continue and push up in control. It's a nice looking pattern here though. It's a nice V reversal, and you could even start to call that a bit of a inverse head and shoulders if you'd like to. But yeah, it does look quite nice, that pattern. And finally in the metals, we want to have a look at XIN, which is nickel, and we can just see the pattern on nickel at the moment. We'll just zoom out a little bit. Sorry, that's not what we want. So we can just see a nice diagonal, type pattern. It's not really a classic ending diagonal, but if you just have a look here, you can see it is starting to form a bit of a pinch, and these can be interesting type patterns. Nickel's probably worth keeping an eye on, just as long as it holds inside this consolidation here. This could end up being an ending diagonal. We just need to see a break out of it upwards, and if it does, that could set something up. It's been charging up in this consolidation pattern for a little while. We're going to do a report on it in more detail, but in terms of a price action structure, it does look quite nice, and seeing this at the end of a downtrend is even a better sign as well. So we can see how long the downtrend has been going on in nickel. So we do wonder now, if we did get a breakout here, if that's going to turn into a reversal pattern. So one to maybe keep on the watch list and just keep an eye on it. If we do have a breakout, we want to see a move back down and then a new higher low, just to show that buyers are in control. So definitely one to keep a bit of a watch on there. And just finally, we'll touch on some of the cryptocurrencies this week. It's been an interesting week for crypto, but we are looking at it a little bit more positively now. So we had that move down after this move up. Can see a bit of a fight back here on Bitcoin. Really want to see this area continue to hold for Bitcoin. It's around that 41,745 area. We'd then like to see this resistance broken at 43,618. If we do see a nice breakout above that, that could show that this this new trend is continuing, and this overall trend is looking to start getting back into play as well. So it's one of them as well. BNB is another bit of key support here. We want to see a hold at 290. There's a higher low which is looking quite good. We need to see a move up and break in this area though at 310, and then obviously a move back up to test and break that to get that trend back up and running. ADA is another similar pattern, higher low after that low, and then we just need to see a move back here to break. Now Ripple is a bit of a worry at the moment. It continues to trade lower. It's 1% lower today. We've had a few tests below well below 50 now, and the worry about that is because we had these two really good nice key moves. We had about now is a lower high come in. It's kept moving down. This is the key support here. It's at 47.14, and the worry is that even with all the good news with the SEC in terms of winning certain aspects of the case, Ripple just continues to see no real key momentum, and so that is a bit of a worry. So even though other cryptocurrencies for instance Ethereum and Bitcoin and even lower ones like DOT, for instance, they've been seeing some really good drive. Even though they've had a big pullback, they're still seeing lots of drive. The trend structure remains up. It's the same story if we have a look at Ava. Ava's in a good pattern at the moment, higher low. Just need to see a move back up to test and break this area. And similar story for Solana. What did I didn't go over. So we've had that nice low down there. We've had a nice move up that actually tested and broke this area. We've had a pullback, got a higher low, and now we just want to see if we can get back up to test and break that. We really want to see a hold above sort of this area for Solana at 91, just to show that, you know, buyers are still holding out and that we're not going to see some sort of big move down after a lower high. So that low as well is important at 80.69. If we saw a break of that, that would be a worry on the short to medium term, in my opinion. And now going back to Ripple quickly, just before we close up today. So yeah, we can just see the trend structure between the you know, those charts and Ripple. Ripple just does not look to have sort of that, you know, demand and momentum at the moment. It looks to sort of be rolling over a bit at the moment. You can sort of see here, and that is a bit of a worry. So we really want to see buyers hold this level here, and that's at 47.09. Then again, probably down to this level here at 45.29. That's a real far cry from where we have seen it, you know, not too long ago at 74, and then when I had that real ripping move up after that SEC minor victory at 92. But yeah, those days are pretty long gone at the moment, and yeah, it's really struggling even to hold itself above 50 at the moment, let alone, you know, 60 to 70. So yeah, if it does break below these levels, I would say that there is something wrong going on, and this confidence and is just not there in that coin at the moment. So if you are trading Ripple, I did have some Ripple recently. I'm out of it now, but if you are, just keep an eye on it. I'm not giving you any advice here, but just keep an eye on it, and just, yeah, we really just want to see these levels here, especially at 45, sort of hold firm. If they had a big move below that area into these areas here, I think that's a bit of a worry. I may even see then a pullback, you know, down to you know, maybe 30 even. So depending on, you know, on really how far it gets going with seller pressure. So yeah, this is just a few things to keep an eye on and a watch on some of the coins. And yeah, sorry again, it's been such a long report. If you have made it this far, I appreciate it, and thank you very much. I hope you're getting something out of these updates. If there's anything we can improve on or any markets you'd like to see added, please let us know. Chris Pulver is currently doing a lot of reports on stocks and earnings. This some of the, you know, with all the fever pitch around some of the Nasdaq stocks at the moment. Definitely check those out if you are looking to trade stocks, or if you're interested in stock CFDs. He's doing a lot of good information there. So that's it for this week's update. Thank you very much. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, good trading, and definitely check the NFPs out tonight. And if you are trading through them, manage your risk, and make sure if you are trading the news that you really manage your risk, as volatility can come in unexpectedly after those news reports. So again, thank you, and bye for now.